So let me start off this recipe by saying that I'm choosing to make chicken wings because it's something I've been craving lately, but don't feel like you have to use this recipe with chicken wings. Sometimes when we just want to change up chicken, that's an easy way to do it, having wings, because it's a little more like an appetizer, although we definitely eat it as a meal. If you're bored of chicken, that's one way to go about it. So I'm making wings. Feel free to make breast, thighs, chicken legs, whatever you want to make with this. It doesn't matter. I also like to remove some of the skin. That is completely unnecessary. It's just me. I'm not gonna sit here and show this entire portion to you guys. I just like to break it down a little bit. I don't know, it's just me, but don't feel like you have to do that. Just throw all the chicken wings in there and you're good to go. Okay, so I've got my chicken wings here and they're broken down into the parts that I want them to be in. All right, I'm gonna hint toward a video idea that I've got in the works right now. It'll be coming up soon. But you know, there's always one of these in your fridge, right? So we are going to take some leftover Italian dressing, and you can get these at Sam's Club in a 2-pack. I actually bought them for a church function, and then we have a little bit left over. So I wanna use it because here's the thing, this will just sit in your refrigerator and then it's expired and you have to go buy more dressing, all this. So we are going to take some of this Italian dressing, and this is the Olive Garden brand. Feel free to use whatever you want. Whatever kind of dressing you want is totally fine. This is just a recipe that I'm making up, okay? This is just me thinking about flavors, understanding how flavors work, and rolling with it. So I'm gonna add at least a cup of this dressing here into this bag. You could definitely do this in a casserole dish or something like that, so don't feel like it has to be in a bag like this. We are also, I think this one, oh no, I have an open one. Let me grab the open one. We go through a lot of Greek yogurt in our house. Okay, so I knew I had one that was already opened. I'm gonna also add about a cup of Greek yogurt. You can use just regular, plain, full fat, non-fat, whatever kind of yogurt you want. We always have Greek yogurt, so that's why I'm going for that. And I love dill. This should be no surprise to anybody, so I am gonna add dill. Oh, this is a brand new one. I don't feel like we need to add any salt or anything because of the sodium content in the dressing, 540 milligrams, so it's pretty packed full of sodium. So I don't feel like we need to add any of that at all. So the only herb, I guess you can say, or seasoning that I'm gonna add is dill, and that's just because I genuinely love this flavor. I'm going for at least a tablespoon, but keep in mind, that's actually probably more than a tablespoon. There are a lot of wings in this bag. And then because I do want a little bit of heat, I'm gonna add a little bit of Cholula. But if you don't want any heat at all and you really just want these to be like more of an Italian or Greek style wing, then feel like you don't need to do that. But we like a little bit of heat. So, I mean, could this be any simpler? You can add whatever you want in here though, okay? So don't feel like you just have to add the ingredients that I added. And then we just close up the bag and just kind of mix it all together. Let everything work together in the bag, and it's gonna just marinate for a couple of hours until we're ready to cook this. What in the world? These bags are the pits. All right, well, at least most of them are safe. I'm not even gonna put it back in a bag. All right. Let me pause this disaster and clean this up and I'll be back. All right, now that that disaster is over, let's just mix this in a bowl. We're gonna stay away from the bag. That was fun. Okay, these are good. They are nice and marinated. Okay, well, they're sitting in its marinade. So I'm gonna put a lid on this. This is going to go in the refrigerator. I'm gonna let it sit in the refrigerator for at least 2 hours. So if you don't really have the time at 2:30 to get this started, you can go ahead and do this the night before and it's gonna be ready to go. There are multiple ways to go about cooking these. And just because I have so many, we might actually cook them 2 different ways tonight. So I'll be back in just a minute and we will get these going. I just stood here and gave you guys a complete rundown on the process of what I'm doing, and my microphone was not on the entire time. So let me just explain what's happening here. We have a parchment lined baking sheet. I'm gonna be cooking these 2 different ways, and the main reason is I want them all to come out at the same time, and my air fry basket is not quite large enough to make all of these at the same time. A little more than half are gonna go into the oven and the rest will go in the air fryer. My oven is currently preheating to 400 degrees. These are gonna take about 40 minutes, maybe a little longer in the oven, but we will flip them halfway through to make sure that they get nice, even color. The oven just chimed, so I know it's ready to go, and we'll set a timer for about 20 minutes so that we can flip these. Then we'll get started on the air fryer ones. The way that I understand how an air fryer works, you can put parchment paper down on your inside of your air fry basket or whatever you're using. I know all air fryers are a little bit different, but I feel like that blocks the flow of the air, the entire purpose in the air fry. So because of that, we're not gonna put parchment paper down, and this is just gonna be a beast to clean. This is gonna be one of those soaking dishes. Listen, if y'all don't use the Dawn Power Wash though, you're missing out, because I'm telling you, that stuff will clean a pan or a baking dish faster than anything else I've ever used. I am honestly really impressed with it. All right, so our chicken wings are going to cook on air fry at 360, and we're gonna start at 12 minutes. We'll take them out and flip them, and then we will cook again, same amount of time. Okay, so I just wanna show you, even though this video is about chicken, I am actually gonna be serving these with some cubed potatoes. All that I did is cube up some red potatoes and then mix them together with some avocado oil and just our favorite Kevin seasoning. And I'm just gonna roast these in the oven with the wings that are currently in there. I'm just waiting a little bit because potatoes aren't gonna take quite as long, so I want the wings to have a chance to cook a little bit first. You know what I just realized? Okay, so these have been in there for 20 minutes, but you know what I realized? I was actually going to put these on a rack and I forgot. I think I'm gonna do it anyway. Like, I'm gonna take these off, I'm gonna put the rack on there, we're gonna do it anyway. One day, I'm gonna do a recipe and y'all are gonna be like, man, that was flawless. Let's get some of this and just recoat. Now, I will be tossing this after this time, putting, you know, some on there. Obviously, there was raw chicken in this, so I'm not going to put this on after these are completely done cooking, but they're about to go back in the oven, so it'll be fine for this time. And I'll use them once for the air fryer, but other than that, this is gonna get tossed. Now, these can go back into the oven and continue to cook for about 20 more minutes. We'll check them and see how things are looking. All right, the air fryer timer just went off, so we're gonna take these out and flip them, and then those will also go back in again. So same process. I'm going to flip. I'm going to add this marinade that we made up, and then they're gonna go back in for another 12 minutes. Here are the wings out of the oven, and for the last couple of minutes, we're gonna crank up our heat to a broil on high, no more than like maybe 3 minutes, but we're gonna watch it closely. Okay, here are the air fryer chicken wings. So for the last couple of minutes, I'm gonna crank my heat up to 390, and we're gonna cook these about 4 more minutes or so, and just make sure that we get nice color. I mean, it already has great color because it's air fryer, but just for those last couple minutes. We have 1 clean fork for dinner, and the dishwasher still has an hour left, so we're gonna have to wash some. Just for the fun of it, I've got 1 here from the air fryer and 1 from the oven, so I just wanna taste both of them so that I can give you guys, let's just see if there's a difference at all. Let's taste the air fryer one first, okay?
You really
just
eat it with a fork?
Yeah, I eat chicken wings with a fork. Yes, I do. Air fryer, lots of flavor, nice crispy outer skin, really good. Let's try the a little bit from the, what? Is there a deer in the yard?
Oh, there were 2 of them.
2 deer in the yard?
They were fixed on each other. It was right on the fence. Right on the fence.
Oh man.
Oh, shit.
Oh, she jumped the fence.
Polly! Come here, girl. Polly! Good girl. Come on.
We have deer at our fence actually a lot. They like something right at the back of our fence line, and there's a creek behind it with woods, and our dog has figured out how to jump the fence. So there's like the perfect spot at one part of our fence. She can jump back. She can jump and go play in the creek, but she can jump back. So anyway, it's been a whole thing. All right, so this is from the oven. They're honestly pretty equal in texture and everything. The only comment, which is actually, this is surprising to me, I feel like I can taste the marinade more on the ones that are in from the oven. Now that could just be that the second time when I basted them, I added a little bit more. I don't know, the oven may have it like seep in a little bit more or something like that. But overall, really good flavor. I think this marinade would be absolutely delicious. And then you were making these for like a Greek bowl or something, it would be so good for that. And you could grill them, it would be delicious. But honestly, both of these, from the oven and from the air fryer, are both delicious. And you get the ever so slightest bit of heat with that hot sauce in there. You guys know how much we love our garden that we have outside and how each year I try and expand it and add more to it. I love bringing in fresh produce. I've actually been looking into this company called Garden that I found several years ago after we were at a convention center in Florida. I loved the concept of being able to grow everything inside of the home so that you could have it all year long. This fits so perfectly into our dining room, and we can have fruits, vegetables, herbs, all the things that we love all year long. Also, you guys know how much we love to travel, and I love that I don't have to worry about making sure somebody comes by and waters. The garden has an app with vacation mode, so you don't even have to worry about a thing while you're away. The garden system uses a hydroponic technology and this LED light system that creates the best growing environment for plants. And you can control and monitor everything from the mobile app. The app actually also gives you real-time updates about the health and growth of your plants. Every garden membership comes with Kelby, which is your personal AI gardening assistant. Kelby uses advanced sensors and cameras and keeps tabs on your plants at all times. Garden also carefully selects organic, locally sourced, and non-GMO seeds. There are over 60 fruits, vegetables, and herbs and flowers to choose from. This also completely eliminates pesticides, and it significantly reduces the amount of water needed for watering your garden. You guys can unlock an exclusive offer from Garden by clicking the link in my description box below. Now, obviously we're talking about ways to use up that salad dressing, but a very traditional way to use salad dressing would be on a salad, using our garden and all the different lettuces that we have available, which makes it so good. We're gonna make a really quick salad. You guys also know I love adding fresh thyme to almost anything, but specifically our homemade salad dressing, so delicious. Pour this on top and you have yourself a nice, quick, fresh meal. Tonight's recipe can be as few as 5 ingredients, maybe even 4. We are making a bruschetta chicken. Not only is this just a couple of ingredients, but we are also using up that leftover salad dressing. The first thing that we're gonna do is marinate this chicken. I went ahead and made my own copycat version of the Olive Garden dressing. We ran out of the dressing the other day, and I knew that I still wanted to make this video just talking about this leftover dressing. It is so good. It is absolutely as good as the Olive Garden dressing, or maybe even better, and it took seconds to make. It comes together in no time at all. And I love the ingredients in this too. I know exactly what's in it. It is so good. So we're gonna marinate the chicken in this. All we're doing is cutting open 2 chicken breasts, and you guys know I love to slice them in half to make them a little bit thinner. I'm just gonna put them into a baggie and pour some of this dressing over the top. We are probably using in between 1/2 and 3/4 of a cup of this dressing, but you can use as much as you feel like you need. Just massage that into the chicken in that bag. We're gonna let it marinate until we're ready for dinner. I think you could even make this the night before and then have it ready for dinner tomorrow. Let's talk about the several different ways that you could make this bruschetta chicken. You could grill it, air fry, instant pot, oven, stovetop. I mean, truly, there are so many ways to go about this one. I personally am gonna make mine in the air fryer because I think it's about to rain. That was gonna be my first option, was to grill it. The oven is gonna take in between 30 and 40 minutes, but the air fryer is gonna take just a couple of minutes, and I feel like it's gonna be so good. If you are choosing the oven method, you're gonna put down your chicken onto a foil or parchment lined baking sheet, preheat your oven to 350 degrees, and then lay your chicken out. Then you wanna put a layer of mozzarella cheese onto the top of it and a layer of the tomato mixture that we are about to make, and then it's gonna go in your oven for about 35, 40 minutes, depending on the size of your chicken breast. I'm doing mine just a little bit different because we're making it in the air fryer. I'm actually gonna start by putting the chicken in and letting that cook for a little bit, then add the mozzarella, then add the tomato mixture. So we wanna spray this nice and well so we don't have any sticking, and then take our chicken out of the bag, which has been marinating all day, and you know it's gonna be good. Okay, I'm just gonna have to wash my hands here. So far, we have used 2 ingredients. So far, we've only used 2 ingredients. We've got our dressing and the chicken. All right, now what I've found with my air fryer and chicken that we usually put in there is that it usually only takes about 12 minutes. So I cook 6 minutes on one side, 6 to 7 minutes on one side, and then turn it over. So while this is in the oven, we're going to hurry to get the rest of it done. Oh, this part is absolutely optional, but I did not put a lot of salt in the marinade. So we're gonna top ours with this Kevin's all-purpose seasoning. So this is ingredient number 3, but I think you could skip this one if you're using the actual Olive Garden version, because I do think that that one is pretty high in sodium. So I'm just gonna top this with a little bit of the all-purpose seasoning. Feel free to just use salt and pepper. I cook mine on in between 365 and 370. I go back and forth. So these are gonna go in, and I'm really hoping that at the 6 or 7 minute mark, when I'm ready to turn them over, we've got the tomato mixture and the mozzarella ready to go. That's my plan, so we're gonna work quickly. Are we ready? Let's go. I've got some mozzarella cheese here, and this is just this Italian style whole mozzarella cheese. Now, usually I do shred this up, and I still think that you can do that and just top the chicken with shredded cheese. But I figured before I go ahead and shred it, I could just cut some slices, and then I can lay the slices on top of the chicken. So that's what we're going for. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut up some slices. They don't have, not that one, that didn't turn out very well. They don't have to be perfect. Just a few of them here and there. Just good enough that we can lay this on top of the chicken. And then I'll end up shredding the rest of it, but not right now because we are trying to work quickly. Oh man, I didn't even wash the tomatoes yet. It's okay, we're gonna be all right. They're from the garden, so I know that they don't have pesticides on them, but still, I like to give them a little rinse. Now for this, you can use whatever kind of tomatoes you want. I do think that these little cherry tomatoes are really perfect. So I'm cutting them into probably 8s, whatever's easiest. But we have Roma tomatoes over here. We've got, what I think they're called beefsteak tomatoes. They're nice and large. I could use those too. It really doesn't matter. But our garden is giving us approximately 700 little cherry tomatoes a day. So using those up. Some of these I'm just gonna quarter because they're a little smaller. Oh, let's go ahead and get some dressing in there so it can be marinating. So I'm just gonna marinate these in a little bit of that Italian dressing. We don't need much. And I'm gonna stir it around, that's it. I'm literally not doing anything else other than that. But you could do an olive oil and just marinate them in some olive oil and balsamic. Now, obviously this dressing does not have any balsamic in it, but it does have really good flavor. And there is some vinegar in there, so you are still gonna get that vinegar taste. Also, some green would be really pretty in here. So if you have some parsley, which I do, I may top it with some parsley. Obviously that is another ingredient, completely optional and just for color. So up to you how you wanna handle that. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of that Kevin seasoning into this. And look, we have a minute to spare. Nailed it. And it may end up taking a couple more minutes this time. Interesting. Normally it is right around 12 minutes, but I'm gonna go ahead and top the chicken with the mozzarella cheese. Okay, let's do another 6, 7, let's do 6 minutes. And then we're gonna take it out and go about 1 minute with some of that bruschetta on the top. We've got a little bit of browning on that cheese, which is what I was wanting. Now I'm gonna top each one of these with a little bit of that tomato mixture, and also I did add some parsley because I just couldn't take it without the green color. I also think it's a good idea to save a little bit of the tomatoes for the side. I just think it serves well with it. And then I'm just going to cook this for about 1 more minute so that the tomatoes can warm up. We've got some really beautiful color. It smells good. Let's try this. It is cooked on the inside. We do like to see that. That's really good flavor. It's definitely a good idea to marinate the chicken in that dressing because it just infuses in that chicken and makes it really, really good. I do think I could have gone 1 minute less on the air fryer, but that is why I love that thing because it cooks your food so fast. Can I tell you guys something? If you're not making sheet pan meals, you're spending too much time in the kitchen. They are so easy. They come together so quickly. Tonight we are going to have a salmon sheet pan dinner. And here's the great thing about this one. Not only is it on a sheet pan, not only are we using up that extra salad dressing that sometimes you have no idea what to do with, this is also only 5 ingredients. It comes together so quickly, so easy to make this. What's the best part about sheet pan dinners? You guys say it with me, you have less dishes to wash, okay? Because you're gonna cover that sheet pan with foil or parchment paper or something that's gonna keep it clean, and then you barely have to rinse it off. As you can see, I'm starting with some red potatoes, and I'm just dicing these into maybe a little bigger than bite-sized pieces. You can make them whatever size you would like. You do wanna make sure that they're small enough that they're not gonna take a really long time to cook, because one of the things about sheet pan dinners is that you want everything to cook around the same time. Now for this one, I'm actually gonna be cooking the potatoes first for a little bit before I add the salmon and the green beans onto that sheet, just to make sure we don't overcook the salmon. That's a really big deal. Now, if you're doing something like chicken, or if you're doing maybe a meatloaf, something really other than a fish that doesn't overcook really quickly, you're all right putting everything on the sheet pan at the exact same time. All right, so what I would say is just cut however many you feel like you need, depending on the size of your family. Now, whenever I make sheet pan dinners, I usually opt to use my larger sheet pan. So I have that one here. I'm gonna take all of the potatoes and just put them right on the sheet pan. I don't know what has been happening lately, but every time I get potatoes, it has not looked amazing. This is ingredient number 1. I have some Copycat Olive Garden dressing here, and I am going to drizzle just a little bit onto the potatoes. Now, obviously, you can just buy the Olive Garden dressing. You do not have to make it, but I've been making it because we have all the ingredients always on hand to make it, and it is so easy, so easy. And so that I don't have to dirty a bowl to toss all these in, we're just gonna do this. You can toss them obviously with a spatula or tongs or something like that, but look how easy that was. We are preheating our oven to 400 degrees. I'm gonna let these cook for about 15 minutes or so, then we're gonna add other ingredients onto this and cook again. So we have a little bit of a pre-cook on the potatoes here, which take the longest. Now I'm gonna add the green beans. All right, now that this is hot, I will switch to tongs. Let's add a little bit more of that dressing and mix them around. It's just gonna add good flavor. You can also add salt and pepper if you want. Honestly, I mean, you can add whatever you want. It can just be spices. It doesn't have to be leftover dressing. It's just convenient that we have leftover dressing, so I'm using it. Okay, so let's put this back in maybe like 5 minutes or so, just to get those green beans started. And then we're gonna add the salmon onto the center of the sheet. But really, the green beans won't take that long at all. These have been in for about 5 or so minutes. We're actually gonna change the oven to broil. I'm gonna broil on low, but I'm gonna change that over now. And let's make a pocket here in the center that the salmon can go in. I bought this salmon, and I definitely thought that it had 4 in the pack. Clearly does not. But my daughter is going to a birthday party tonight, and I'm pretty sure she's eating there. I'm checking to make sure though. The salmon is our 4th ingredient. We are going to top with some of the dressing. You can add salt and pepper if you would like to. So if you're using the store-bought version, I definitely think it has more sodium than the homemade version that I made, so you may not need to add salt and pepper. Since mine is homemade, I'm gonna add this Kevin's seasoning, so this is our 5th ingredient. Salt and pepper would be another thing that you could add, but good to go. Put this in for about 10 more minutes. All right, I just pulled this. We do want to check it. I think it's actually gonna be perfect. Oh yeah, this is perfect, nice. It's nice and flaky. I just tasted this and realized that I wasn't recording the whole time. It's really good. I prefer to take the skin off. This is skin on salmon. Obviously you can buy it without the skin, but whatever your preference is. The flavors are really good. So easy to make. Such a pretty meal with all the different colors, great ingredients. In my opinion, the green beans are cooked to perfection. I like them to just still be a little bit crunchy, ever so slightly, not a lot, like I don't want them to be raw, but I like a little bit of crunch. So if you don't like a little bit of crunch, just cook them a little longer before you put that salmon on. So good, so easy to make, love this one. Our verse today comes from Matthew 4:23. Jesus went throughout Galilee, teaching in their synagogues, proclaiming the good news of the kingdom and healing every disease and sickness among the people. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you need more inspiration, I've got tons of it here on my channel for you. Check out the video listed above. It's one of my favorites and you are going to love it too. Also, don't forget to head to my description box to get the link for a garden. Hope you're having a great week.